Welcome to the Chasing Meet Cutes podcast. I am your host, Nicole.
And I'm your host, Trisha. Today we're diving into the cult classic rom-com from 2006, a Nancy Meyers classic, The Holiday. This is one of our favorites.
Yeah,
probably one of the top. I know it's in your top 6 that you rewatch over and over.
Yeah,
for sure. That number has increased, I think, but
changed. Some of the movies have changed in it. Mostly they've stayed the same, but yeah, it's definitely in the top 6.
Such a classic. Most of us have probably seen this a million times.
Yep.
But for those that need a refresher, I'm going to read a quick summary of the movie. The Holiday is a delightful rom-com where 2 women, Iris and Amanda, swap homes for Christmas to escape their messy love lives. Iris ends up in sunny Los Angeles while Amanda retreats to a cozy English cottage, and both unexpectedly stumble into new romances with charming Graham and quirky Miles. Along the way, they discover love, self-worth, and the magic of taking risks. It's a heartwarming tale of finding connection in the unlikeliest places, sprinkled with humor, romance, and plenty of festive cheer.
Love that.
Love it.
So good. So we are going to obviously dive into their on-screen romances that we see throughout the movie. And we are going to start with Amanda and Ethan. I think that's who we see right off the bat, right?
Yeah.
Actually,
I think it does start with Iris
and Jasper, but we'll get to them. We'll get to them. Let's start with Amanda and Ethan.
Amanda and Ethan. Wow. Ethan is the worst.
Ethan is horrible.
He's just like, first of all, like the way that he speaks to Amanda, like he's just like
ultimate gaslighter.
I didn't. And then she's like, just tell me you did. And he's like, all right, fine, I did. Like,
yeah.
You were willing to go lie just to like salvage the relationship. And for what? You clearly don't enjoy being in it.
Right. I don't know. He's like the ultimate gaslighter to sit there and say over and over, like, I swear I did not sleep with her.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
You did.
Here's
probably
all your
more than once.
Boom.
See you never.
Yeah. And poor Amanda. She's like, all she wants to do is just like break down and cry about this situation.
Yeah.
And she just can't.
Literally cannot cry.
She just can't.
Yeah.
Poor thing.
So, I mean, that was a very short-lived little relationship, but important nonetheless.
Yep. And then we have Iris in her journalist, what is it, the Christmas party where it first
their holiday party. Yeah.
Yes, their holiday party. And she's just infatuated with Jasper.
Yeah.
And he's
her
also
unrequited love.
Yeah. He's just such like a vacuum of everything she has good to offer.
Yeah.
And it's so not fair.
It's not.
Like, he is the worst.
Yeah, totally.
He's worse than Ethan.
Probably.
I mean,
when
okay, Ethan's
when you really
just like, I'm a dumb physical dude that like can't control my sexual desires, and like that's horrible. But like,
no, Jasper's
is
worse.
Like he's like very like
manipulative. Yes.
He's thinking through. He knows the feelings that Iris has for him.
Yeah,
and he's taking every part of her that she's willing to give.
Totally.
And yet willing to marry someone else.
Yeah, so, totally engaged to someone else. And
can we just talk about the moment at the holiday party when he like
when they announced his engagement
and she's just crumbling.
Yeah.
Like, I think we've all been there or can relate in some way of just like when you think something is going to go one way and you're just knocked down 10 pegs back to reality.
And you just weren't, she wasn't expecting it, obviously. Especially they had just had that exchange about giving each other their Christmas gifts. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, usually we exchange them in March. We're getting better. And then for that bombshell to drop literally minutes later was probably just horrific to experience for her. I can't
imagine.
Yeah. And then obviously when he comes into the picture later, again, when he's still engaged.
He had the audacity to do that.
Like, he flew from England
across the pond
to LA while he was still engaged to be married to Sarah.
Yeah, gross.
And like cuddled up with Iris on the couch. I almost called her Kate. Guys, I love Kate Winslet, so like I might call her Kate. I'm sorry.
No biggie.
Yeah, it just was gross. And she's just so like vulnerable, I think, that he just was exploiting that. Yeah. Which is sick.
And there's like an innocence about Kate's character where I'm not saying like, oh, she's never experienced anything, but it seems like she feels caught up in the race of like, I want this thing so bad, and here I am in this point in my life, and I still don't have it, and she's been holding out for this dude, missing out on other opportunities, other people, because she's just so hopeful because he gives her
she's just going off of like, what he's giving her.
He's the breadcrumber.
Yes.
Like they say.
Yeah. She's just going off of what he's telling her, and she's like holding on to hope that he's not a scumbag when he is.
Iris.
He is.
He is a scumbag.
I will never get over that they were married in real life at one point.
I'm today years old.
Really? I swore I told you that before.
I mean, maybe you did, but I didn't.
You don't listen to me. It's fine.
I didn't listen to that part, I guess. That's insane.
Yeah, yeah.
So obviously, Amanda and Iris, they each have their like relationship big blow ups of things ending, and they need a change, and they're both kind of. I think that's our favorite scene of Iris back in her cottage, and she is just having a Mint TV.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like she is.
I mean, the girl turns the gas on
she
her
turns
stove and
the natural gas and inhales it.
Yeah.
Okay, she's struggling, but they somehow find each other on this little house swap vacation home website, which is so funny because the website looks ancient.
Yeah,
and they're like, we gotta get a change, and they find each other, and they ultimately decide to switch homes for 2 weeks over the holidays, and then we find them both in each other's homes, and Iris moves into Amanda's beautiful LA home
mansion.
Who is, I love that like her job was a movie trailer.
I know,
producer.
that's such like a unique thing.
And
you
so
you don't think
cool.
about that, right?
Yeah. I don't think about that.
Like, I don't. Yeah.
I think. Okay, we've been discussing this as we've just been watching more modern movies lately. They don't do trailers like they used to.
No, they don't.
And that dude, the trailer guy.
Yeah.
What did we
I don't remember
his name. He was the
he voiced like all the trailers.
Yeah, like Hal Douglas. He's the movie trailer guy in real life. And he just like did literally we've watched so many, we're like,
yep, that's our guy.
That's him.
And if he's doing the trailer, we know the movie's good.
He's like, in San Diego. Da 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 da.
Yeah.
Whatever. And it's like you're just like hooked in the trailer.
You just know it's gonna be good.
And now they show you a 20-second meaningless clip of a movie that you're like, so wait, what's gonna be
the
about?
whole story about? Yeah.
They need to get it together.
Yeah. Anyway, back to
so we find them in each other's homes for the holidays. Iris is in LA, and she meets Arthur, who introduces us to the idea of this meet cute.
He does.
Which is really the inspo for the title of our podcast.
Yes.
Because the first time I ever heard meet cute was the holiday.
Yep, me too. Me too.
So that's just a cute little origin story there. But I think there was almost not like a romantic love, but I thought the chemistry that Iris and Arthur had was just so natural and so
sweet.
And it just made you want to like, I don't know, I'm kind of like that too, where I'm like, I'll see somebody that's like older or that just seems like they have an interesting story to tell. And I'm like, I just want to go like have lunch with
talk to them, yeah.
Like, I just want to get to know, like they have life to share.
Yes.
And I want to know about it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I feel like Arthur was with Iris. He just got to share his life in maybe a season that he had been lonely.
Yeah.
So I loved that little storyline there. But she ends up meeting Miles. Played by Jack Black, who is a film composer.
Yep.
Which was
another
really
cool thing.
I remember seeing that for the first time, being like, I think I might want to be a film composer.
Yeah. I think I'm going to do that.
Don't ask me about music theory.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
I want to do that. Yeah, it was just so cool. And I think their connection, the way that it started, which was just so like friendly at first, was so fun to watch and watch it unfold throughout the movie. But
yeah, because he obviously had a girlfriend who was literally in the car with him when they had their first
Sophia or Sophie.
Maggie.
Yeah.
Sophie is
the
little girl. Anyway, but he obviously had a girlfriend, but their little meeting was still very cute.
So cute. And he like picked something from her eyelash.
The Santa Ana's.
Yeah.
Santa Ana's.
So cute.
Yeah, but are we going to dive into their whole story?
We can.
I loved it. Obviously, Miles is very like quirky, funny,
goofball.
Total goofball. And Iris doesn't display that much.
She's a little bit more straight-laced.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think the way, like, obviously after Maggie and Miles broke up and they kind of formed their little crushes on each other, I just thought it was cute and simple. I don't know.
I think they related to each other in the way of, like, the people who they had feelings for. Like, they were both sitting in a space of, like, a lack of reciprocation. Like, even though Miles was actually in a relationship with Maggie, she didn't
present.
value him. She wasn't like actually caring for him, and we didn't see too much into that, but like you got that much from it.
Yeah, and probably that she was just using him to get closer to the business because she, wanted to be an actress.
A good name to have associated with her. And so I think they both kind of were like in the same boat there, where it's like, ugh, like, why are we like this? Like, why do we want to just be with people that don't want to be with us?
Yeah.
And so then they kind of were just like, I don't know. They just had such like a fun, loving,
it was
like
fun.
Childlike, not like in a weird way, but just like a very fun, loving dynamic.
Yeah.
Like the blockbuster scene.
That's the fun. I love that so much.
So fun. And
I think she needed that. She needed like the funny, the fun, the goofiness.
Yep. Just to like, you could really see her character just like
blossom,
like an exhale.
Yes,
like she was just so wound up, and yet the moment Jasper comes back into the picture, she's just like, wait, let me like talk to him and see what's going on. She's like, wow, she probably had imagined like him showing up at her door so many times. Like I've been like that. I'm like, oh wow, and wouldn't it be so cool if I remember in like high school, I would always be like, wouldn't it be so cool if like my crush was just like waiting in the parking lot, like when I walked to like the car at the end of the day, and like he didn't even like go to my school.
Yeah,
he went to a different school. He definitely wasn't vibing with me, and my mom picked me up.
Vibing.
So like, but because you watch all these rom-coms, you see the grand gesture type moments, and you kind of like want that. So I think she probably was holding on to the hope that Jasper was going to do this grand gesture, and honestly, showing up in LA
is a huge.
So I think she, for a moment, had a lapse in judgment and was like giving into that. And I think same thing with Miles when they were having dinner and Maggie calls and she's all up in arms and emotional, and he's like, "All right, I'll be right there and give me 10 minutes."
Yeah,
you're so quick to like jump back into something because you want to show them how much you care,
right?
When they really don't give.
And you think like, oh well, if they're crawling back to me, then like it must be, we must be meant to be. Right. But that obviously doesn't end up as the case with them. No. I feel like their full like romance doesn't really blossom till the end.
No, it like till like literally the literal end. Even though I think, like you said, they were starting to form like little crushes, or they were starting to see each other, and I think they were starting to see maybe like what a true like compatibility and not just chemistry. Like anybody can have chemistry.
Sure.
With somebody, but like you don't always have compatibility with that person.
Yeah.
And I think they filled in the gaps where like they just were a great match.
Yeah.
And he loosened her up a bit and she kind of tethered him down a bit, and they were creative together, and him showing up for Arthur was obviously him showing up for her.
Right. Totally.
And it was just like, like I don't know. It was that moment in the theater when
he's like running down the aisle. Yeah.
And he's just like, "Do you have plans for New Year's?" I just loved it.
I know. And he went all the way to England.
He did.
to Surrey.
Yep.
For New Year's.
He did.
So he could be with her. So
I really love them. And then in the final like ending scene when they're dancing in the living room, it's just like, yes,
so
like you guys
cute.
Look like a match made in heaven.
Yeah,
like you look natural together. They had great chemistry, even just in the silly, goofy moments.
Yes.
Like, so great. I mean,
like accidental
come on,
grays.
they're all-star actors, number one. But
yeah.
So like, they just know how to showcase that.
Mm-hmm.
But still, the two of them, so great,
so good. Obviously, toxic or non-toxic.
No, they're not.
Definitely not toxic. They had toxic relationships. But exactly. Them together was not.
From toxicity into healthy.
Yeah. Full growth, guys. We love that.
We love it. All right, so over in England, Amanda is just trying to like relax and do nothing, but she's just not that type of person.
Can't do it.
She's brought all her stack of books. Can't get a word in. She just. You can just tell she's in her head.
Yep.
She just lives in her head.
Yep.
So, what was it, like the very first night she was there, or the second night or something?
No, it was the first night.
First night, she gets a knock on her door. Which, first of all, I'm like, if I'm by myself in the English countryside, I ain't answering that door. Are you
no
kidding me?
way. No. Mm-mm.
Not unless I have something.
And you can't. Well, I don't know if you can over there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about those Brits, but...
Anyways, I wouldn't have been quick to answer the door, but she did, and there he was.
Yeah. I think really the reason she answered it was because he mentioned Iris.
Yeah, that's true.
And she obviously knew like that was her house. But
right. So Graham's at the door.
Looking great as ever.
Drunk out of his mind.
Yeah.
And comes in, they sit down and start to chat. She realizes that it's Iris's brother, obviously. Mm-hmm. And which is funny because he's like, "Wait, where's Iris?"
Yeah, has no clue.
She's fully in LA.
That would literally be me.
Yeah, 100%.
Like my entire family would not even know that I left the country
right. For 2 weeks.
Yeah, but honestly, yeah,
yeah. But so they kind of start chatting, and their dynamic at first too is just kind of like not friendly because he's definitely kind of like feeling her.
Yeah.
And she's just kind of like...
It was like opportunistic, just like...
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Serendipity. They're both here at the right time. And she's just kind of like, well, I don't normally do this, but...
Yeah.
What the heck?
But what the heck, yeah. I'm all the way over here.
Yep.
This has fallen in my lap.
Yep.
Quite
she
literally.
She basically made the decision to, like, leave. Right?
At this point, she literally was like, I got here 6 hours ago, and
yeah, she couldn't do it.
I'm going to leave because there's nothing for me to do. Mm-hmm. It's snowing outside. Mm-hmm. I can't drive on the right side of the road.
Pull up onto the road.
So, yeah.
Yep. So, they obviously end up having a sleepover.
A nice
little sleepover. And the next day, oh gosh, she walks into the kitchen. Jude's there with his glasses.
You guys, the glasses are just chef's kiss.
That is great look for him.
Yeah. So
she's basically like, yeah, I'm leaving. And he's like, well, if you change your mind, you should come
I'll be
to
at the
dinner.
pub tonight.
Yeah, come to the pub.
Mm-hmm.
And she does.
She does. She shows up at the pub, guys. Mm-hmm. Which, there was no way she was leaving. After that, there's no way. I'm sorry.
No.
I'm sorry. I'm not leaving if Jude Law presents himself at my door.
Oh, heck no.
Like, mm-mm.
And even just basically asks you to stay.
Yeah.
I mean, in so many words.
Yeah.
If you change your mind, I'll be at the pub. Like, that's an invitation. So, I think too, at that point, she was probably like, well, I didn't have anybody to talk to before, and now I have this guy. I do. So, like, there's a little bit more of a reason to stay.
Yeah.
And, I was trying to think, too, like, when did they start hanging out and going on dates and spending more time together, and then, like, he gets a phone call or sees, what is this? How did she find out? Like, she heard...
Find out about what?
His daughters.
Oh, well, she didn't, like, he got those phone calls and it had their names on the caller ID.
Right.
But she didn't
She just assumed they were other women in his life.
Yeah. And so the one night when she showed up at his house because he took her home, she didn't invite him in. She ultimately felt bad about that. So she went to his house that night, and the girls answered the door. So that's how she found out about
Sophie,
the kids. Sophie and Olivia.
The cutest
little nuggets.
Man, their accents were so cute.
Precious.
Especially Sophie's.
Yes.
Man, so cute. So they go in, they have a dinner. We meet Mr. Napkinhead.
Yeah.
I think Amanda sees how, like, down-to-earth, playful, responsible.
Yeah.
Even though she met him, like, on a drunken night.
Right.
She kind of was like, oh, wait, like, there's more to him.
Yeah, he's not just this,
a
like,
dude that wants to
floozy.
Right. And just, like, her ability to not, like, run for the hills when he finds out that, or when she finds out that he has kids, I thought was, like, admirable. And and again, at that point, maybe she thought it was just temporary, like, a little fling while she's on vacation. So why would she? But obviously it snowballed quickly into having real feelings. And the moment when they're just, like, laying in the tent with the girls, and
oh my gosh,
that was just such, like, a real life moment of just, like,
totally.
Simplicity, nothing fancy. They she wasn't being wined and dined every night. It's like she's used to that coming from the LA, like, hustle bustle. Like, she's enjoying life and just slowing down and seeing the beauty in that.
Yeah.
So for her as an individual, I love that.
Yeah.
Part. But
I know. I think even just them two in the tent together and, like, just them, like, grazing hands was, like, the cutest thing ever. Like, just kind of acknowledging, like, kind of like a thank you for not running for the hills when you saw I had kids, even though I didn't mention it to you yet. And, like, you kind of found out in this crazy way. But I think it was just, like, a thank you for, first of all, crawling into a tent with his kids.
Yes.
And not running.
Right.
So I thought that was very sweet.
I agree. I think that Amanda, obviously, we saw in the beginning with Ethan where she couldn't cry and couldn't really process any of her emotions from whatever previous trauma she had as a kid. And like, I think slowly, as the more she hung out with Graham, her wall started to, like, come down a bit. Yeah. And she was willing to feel some of her emotions or process that, where before I think maybe it's like she's just was too busy to even, like, actually consider her own feelings. Yeah. When, like, her assistants were like, LOL at a vacation. Like, you never get to we never take vacations. And, like, during the busiest time, like, for them. Right. So I think just her slowing down opened her up to the opportunity to find love. And the fact that Graham was such an emotional person. Oh, yeah. Like, he is a crier. So, like, that's so endearing. What do you think about that? Like, men that are in touch with their emotional side like that. In the way that Graham is. Yeah. Yes. The answer is yes. Yeah. You think there's a form of it where it's too much? Yeah. Yeah. Like, in what way? I'm just like wondering myself, like, he was like, okay, we have a friend and he knows this about himself. He is a crier. Like, he'll just start talking about something and his eyes well up. We're always just, like, laugh at him. And he's a crier. But, like, overall, I wouldn't be like, oh, he's just, like, a cry baby. Like, he's kind of like in that Graham kind of way, where it's like in the inappropriate time. Yeah. To be emotional. Yeah. I don't know how to describe what would be the inappropriate time. I'm trying to work that out in my head. I know I have an answer. I'm really trying to work it out, though. No soy boys. Yeah, yeah. Like, you can't be soft. Correct. Yeah, you can't just be crying, like, for no reason. Like, you can cry, like, in a relationship. You can cry, like, when our child is born or on our wedding day, that sort of thing. You can't be crying because you're like, I don't know, like, this thing happened at Well, I guess if it's
it depends. It depends.
It's very situational, but I know what you mean.
Yeah.
That can't be like your first response every single time.
Right.
That's reserved for me.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. But
I'm emotional, so it's unfair for me to say that, but because I'm emotional, I need somebody who's like not
grounded and like
pull me back down to reality.
Yeah, but the way that Graham is emotional, I think is appropriate.
I do too, and I think it's because he's a girl dad.
Yeah,
and he feels, and he's suffered loss in his life,
mm-hmm.
and he appreciates love.
Yep,
and so, yeah. I think the scene of them talking on the phone to Iris is like, oh my gosh, things.
Yes.
And I think that's just such like a funny trope, if you will, of like this. I'm talking to you. You're talking to me. No, you're back to me.
Yeah.
Da-da-da.
Like I thought I was talking to Graham.
Like it's kind of like when you're telling your friends or you're texting somebody. Like
yeah,
that happened to me once too. Like, well, I wasn't texting somebody, but I think I was sending a Snapchat, and I was at someone's house, and the girl responded back and said, like, "Oh, you're at your man's house." And the guy heard, and he was like, "Your man's," and it was like. It was like, no, like it's a joke, like it's just kind of like this embarrassing thing.
Yeah,
but it was kind of like that cutesy moment between Iris and Amanda, because obviously Iris probably would love for Amanda to be with her brother because she knows her brother deserves love and wants love and all that. And also, she knows her brother can be an idiot and was like, "You better not
mess this up."
Right. So I love that scene.
Yeah, I mean. I just love ultimately the relationship that they all four get to have together. I think that's so cool. That they get to have that, like, because obviously Amanda and Miles work with each other, so they're like, probably like family. And then you have Iris and Graham, who are brother and sister, and then they all just get to be like all together and create this new group of friends / family.
Yeah, I love that. It was a beautiful ending. And obviously Amanda finally like allowing those tears to fall.
Yes.
Which was just like that physical indicator of like, okay, it's matching up with where my heart's at.
Yeah, so like I can't leave. Like I cannot leave it like this.
Right.
I love that they commit to just like working it out, and like I'll come to you as much as I can, you come to me as much as you can. Even though we're both like very much career type people. I thought that was really sweet that they were just like willing to work it out. Even, I mean, that's like the ultimate long distance.
And I think it was kind of like beautiful for them to be like, yeah, we don't know if this is going to work, but like we're willing to take the risk.
Yeah.
Instead of just shutting it down and deciding that it's not going to work.
Right.
Like our feelings are too real to do that. We're just going to like
just to like let it go.
Yeah, we're going to put the effort in and the work that it's going to take. And good thing they're both, well, she's rich. I don't know about him. He's decently.
Yeah, he seemed pretty good.
Yeah, he seemed well off.
Yeah.
So
wait, we should talk about their like formal date that they went on.
Okay.
I was just going to say like it was funny to see them like sit there and ask such like direct questions, or like I don't know, it's like neither of them knew how to be on a date. And I'm like, that's probably gonna be me.
Oh, that would be me. I think, I don't know, the idea of like let's go sit down at like a nice restaurant and like talk, I don't know,
just like chit chat about like what is, I don't know what she says, something about like his writing or whatever, but I don't know. It's just funny. They're just like so focused on asking these questions about like their careers, and I don't know. It's kind of awkward. Their first date, and they're just like, I don't think we know how to do this.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's where I loved even like the date that happened at the dinner at his house, where it's just like, they were cooking and just it was a little bit more casual and laid back, and it's in their home, and you're just, there's a level of comfort there and a level of like safety.
Let's just like, and like, let's just take the pressure off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was funny.
Their relationship, toxic, non-toxic?
Non-toxic.
Non-toxic.
Yeah.
Non-toxic all around.
And we don't obviously know Graham, like, didn't have any other, like, relationships outside of his wife passing that we got to see, but the only toxic ones were the ones we've already talked about with Miles and Maggie and Jasper and Iris, and then of course Ethan.
Yeah. So low life.
Dude.
Wah wah.
He's the worst. And, like, I don't know. I was going to say something that would probably be too mean.
Oh.
Because it really isn't about his character. It's more about his person.
Oh.
His actual person. Just, like, his voice was always just, like...
Oh, so froggy.
So, like, straining.
And
like...
Kermity.
Like, drink some tea.
Like me.
Yeah. But it's just such a classic movie. It's, you know what to expect from it. It's such a feel-good romance. Both, like, everyone's chemistry was so great.
Yeah.
So, like, believable. It didn't, I mean, that's why people are still watching it 20 years later, almost.
20 years is so
I mean, it's not, okay,
crazy.
19 this year. But
basically. They were probably, like, filming it at this point.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow, we're old.
Yeah.
That's okay.
We're getting up there, but that's okay.
No problem.
That's why we can talk about more movies, because we've been alive for more.
Yeah.
But this is one of the favorites, so we had to talk about all that.
Yeah.
If you guys have any, nobody's gonna have differing opinions. It's just
way.
It's a pretty cut and dry.
Yeah. There's no
movie.
way
Feel good. You put it on. You can put it on in the background because you've seen it so many times. Yeah. It's just
you can watch it year round.
Comfort.
It's not just a holiday movie.
Yeah. It just
so good.
Just comforting.
How are we doing the star rating for this one? Just overall?
I think overall, as far as the meet cutes go, great. They each
5-star.
had such great, like, the driveway thing with Iris with the eyelash and the Santa Ana's, like, the knock at the door, like, everything was just so great.
It was.
Even Arthur,
sweet little Arthur Abbott.
Yeah, love him.
5 stars for that.
5-star movie.
5-star movie.
No
5-star meet cutes. 5-star endgame couples.
Yep.
All around. 5 stars.
Yep. And Jasper can kick rocks, and I don't care what he's doing with his life right now. Yeah, we don't care.
He's with Sarah still.
Bye.
Maybe he's with Sarah still.
If she's smart, hopefully she ended it before they got married.
True.
But anyways, that's the holiday.
That is the
good
holiday.
Old Nancy Myers.
Yes. We hope there might be something in the works. She kind of
really
dropped a little hint there.
They had a little Mr. Napkin Head.
Mr. Napkin Head. That would be epic.
I'm scared.
I am scared. I am very scared.
I always get nervous when they, not just movies, but anytime you do a sequel or it's been so many years.
So yeah, that's the trick. Because you know, most people, no, not most people, but a lot of people know that I'm a sequel gal.
Yes.
I love myself a sequel.
But you don't like the originals then in that case. You're usually the either or.
Not necessarily. Okay.
Grease, for example, you're like, I could take or leave the original.
Yeah. As it literally scrolls across our screen. Yeah, that's like the only case, I think, where I don't, the original can be.
Okay, what's your other top? This is off collar here, but what's another one of your favorite sequels? Or a couple?
Cheetah Girls 2.
Okay.
These are going to be throwbacks, but Cheetah Girls 2, Shrek 2.
Shrek 2 was good.
What else?
What about, like, a Pitch Perfect 2?
Oh, I loved Pitch Perfect 2. Do I love it more than the original? Or not? I guess, whatever.
The first.
Yeah.
I don't
think so, but it was still great.
Yeah, it was good.
Miss Congeniality 2.
Great one.
Miss Congeniality 2
that one might even be not better than the first because it's just so classic, but it is so good.
I like it better than the first.
It was very good. And there was a decent amount of years in between that.
Yeah,
sequel.
There was. So yeah, those are some examples.
Free Willy 2? Great.
Like,
honestly, the best one.
Yeah, no, totally.
Wow, so, I need to rewatch that.
See?
Yeah, I agree, but
no, it does.
20 years is a long time. It's like the animated, like the Incredibles one when they had that. Like, it was good, but I'm like, but and all the Toy Stories, it's just kind of like they're good, but
Honestly, I loved Toy Story 4 so much.
That was
and
emotional.
Toy Story 2. So, again.
Yeah. Okay. I'm 100%. I would rather them try a sequel than not do one. For
True.
sure.
Yeah, of course.
And if Nancy's involved and like the same cast, that's already half the battle.
Yeah.
So I am excited for it. And, gosh, I just hope they all still have the same chemistry.
Yeah.
And
I think they will.
They've all been, besides Jude, I don't really know what Jude Law's been up to, but they've all, and Cameron
did something recently.
I feel like Kate and Jack have been more consistently involved in projects. Oh, yeah. Kate more than any of them.
Yeah, Cameron just came back literally yesterday, basically.
Yep. So, I don't know, it would be super fun, but we love that movie, love all the relationships on there. Great chemistry, 5-star.
Yep, 5 stars all around.
5 stars all around. All right, guys, thanks for listening to Chasing Meet Cutes.
Yeah, till next time.
See ya.